right to view.
Lady Bird
Because Dawn made the motion.
David wanted to view it to check the, the topo and all that.
And you got it with you?
Yeah.
All right, because we have a quorum on Lady Bird.
Wall Street is first, I think.
I don't know about your quorum. We have quorum. This is all you're going to get.
Yeah, this is
All
my
right.
board.
Hold on 1 second. Just hold on. One conversation at a time, please. The only ones we can hear today are Lady Bird, 8 Middle Valley, Gray Woods, 1 Brooks Farm, Lissy, 2 Flintlock, Gallietto, 37 Ridge Lane, Ridden, 41 Somerset on the back, Mary Burke, 16 Marble Way. That's it.
And Wall Street.
Yes, I'm not talking about Wall Street right now, because we've been waiting on Wall Street. I'm talking about the new ones. So everybody else has got to go. We're going to put them at the beginning of Tuesday's meeting, because John didn't come, Diane can't come, Jason's working, and David's off island. So this is it. Nathan's yours. We can't hear yours either. Oh, Galliotto, we can. So the only people we need in the room are Botticelli and Cole, BPC, NAG, McMullen, Thornwell, and Emeritus. We can't hear anything else.
I'm going to save you one more. We'd like to move Gray Woods to the next whole business, if you could, please.
Okay, applicant is asking to move Gray Woods to Tuesday. To Tuesday, all right. So Gray Woods is going to Tuesday. All right, so now we're only down to Lady Bird, Lissy, Gallietto, Ridden, and Burke. So let's go. Yep, we're going to call the meeting to order at 1:16. Present are Abby Camp, Linda Williams, and Dawn Hill Holgate. This is a continuation of Tuesday, February 11th meeting. This is February 13th, 2014. We have an audio tape and are we videotaping? And a videotape of the meeting. If anybody else would like to tape the meeting, please let me know. Somebody want to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
All right, Dawn's made a motion to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Dawn?
Aye.
Okay. So now we have no public comment, I would assume, no consents, and we're going to go right to old business, 62 Walsh.
I have a letter for you from the Office of the Attorney General, so you have it as a return receipt. So you know you've got it. And Lady Bird is the first one.
Nope, 62 Walsh.
Oh, it's not Wall.
Yes, I'm in the middle of an HCC meeting. Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right.
I assume this is that court. This is who's sitting.
Yeah, this is it. This is my board.
Don, concerns, he's coming forward with the porch, the second floor deck, comment, roof, blocks, should have 1 1/4 inch gaps. That's when we
So, the big one, obviously, is the porch that was on the gable that faces north. We have now moved to the side so that you don't have that thing projecting closer to Wall Street. Do you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to approve that.
Is everybody okay with the skirt on this one?
Yeah, it's spaced.
Yeah, I think they made a note on there just saying it was going to be wider board spacing.
And it's not painted, right?
The skirt?
The whole roof walk is natural.
I don't know.
It isn't going to be white.
It says be natural, to be natural.
Does?
Yeah.
Okay.
The skirt's being nice to the weather.
Is the roof white?
Oh, the roof shingles? Yes.
Yeah, then the whole roof walk can be natural to weather.
Okay.
Yeah, not white.
Is that what it says on the? Does it say?
It just says the
No,
skirt.
no,
It says the skirt is natural to weather. The rest of it I assume is white like the house.
Is there a notation on the application for the color of the actual roof walk? I don't think,
No.
no, there isn't.
It says shutters, it's got white trim, white sash, white door,
Yeah.
white shutters. The only colors are
You don't
white.
have any shutters.
Well,
Just in
not-
case,
No.
there must have been, were there shutters on there? Was that the
So you
point?
need to go fix the application.
Well, I don't think there's actually a blank on the application that says roof walk
No,
color.
you just cross it out and make a notation if you want. You can add it.
Yeah, because I think that obviously you can just note on there that roof walk to be natural.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that my
Well,
comment
Abby,
was...
that just, sorry, Abby, that note says roof walk skirt to be natural, and I think that
Yeah,
dawn
okay.
is,
We're talking about the whole...
talking
Oh,
about the
I'm
whole,
sorry.
the
It's a
whole
wood
bit.
roof, it should be all
Yeah.
natural. My only question, Ray, is, and this has been from the beginning, is that you go lot line to lot line, and this piece was still troubling me, and you were going to try to pull that piece on the right off or back.
Well, the issue came in, it's the idea of that porch, the second floor deck.
Yeah.
That was on the front, and we moved it to the side, and that was acceptable to the owner. But we just need to have the depth there to be able to have that porch.
Well, I don't mean this side. I mean this side. It's right on, hard on the setback line.
Oh, well.
Remember you and I talked about making
Yeah,
that
the
go
issue
away?
there was the gable beyond, and that's a bedroom that I don't believe can get any narrower. We took room out of the middle of the gable, but that was not for this hearing, this was for the previous hearing. And you're correct, it's still good. I think what happened, Linda, is we took room out, and then it came back in when we moved the porch to the side. That's what happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. So Dawn said she was ready to make a motion, provided the entire roof block be natural weather.
So moved.
Okay, Dawn's made a motion to approve with the roof block being entirely natural weather. All those in favor? Okay,
Thank you.
Finally.
Yeah, that's good.
There's one.
Now,
Linda, you're not going to do 7 o'clock, right?
We can't, we don't have a quorum.
I think we got Lady Bird now, is that right?
So, Tuesday.
Joe, Doug just moved Gray Woods to Tuesday.
I have a client meeting for B&B this afternoon, they wanted to change it, so.
Then fine, because it's going off to Tuesday, and if you got changes, bring them with you.
Okay. Thanks, guys, we'll see you Tuesday.
Tuesday, yep. All that stuff's going to the beginning of the meeting, but if you got something to bring in, bring it with you.
We'll be beginning.
Yes.
Great, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Pepper?
Oh, hang on a second.
On this one?
We're gonna need to we need to go over to James, because he needs to move it all over, and it has to be filed today, because Monday's a holiday. Hate that new open meeting law stuff, that Saturdays used to count, or Sundays used to not count, or holidays used to count.
Did I? I don't think I did.
Oh, how did it get to me? Okay, next one is Lady Bird. Yeah, we should say this. Too much paper. Too much paper. Oh, Ray, we're doing the last one. Ray on this one. Okay, go.
Okay. I don't think that these drawings have been revised. In fact, I'm certain of that. These drawings have not been revised since the last time this was heard. The issue last time was David wanted
Before you
to...
start, do you want to wait for your board till Tuesday?
I'm fine moving forward, because I
Okay.
feel like we were close.
All right.
And
What were the previous concerns?
I will not be here on March.
I don't have one because this is one that we were talking about that
you mean Tuesday?
we need to
Next one.
affirm.
Hold on, that was last Thursday, right? Ray, what were the concerns?
You said it was a view, yeah.
Yeah, it was a view because David was a little bit concerned about the topography, and basically what we were saying to David, and I think he just wanted to verify in the field, was that this building is going basically exactly where the current building is.
Right.
And it's not that much higher. We have the low eaves and all that sort of thing. And if memory serves me, David said, He was not concerned about the height of the building per se. He was just concerned about how the grades would be handled around the building.
Plateauing. Yeah.
Plateauing, exactly. And so, the retainage and all that sort of thing, which shows on the plan, is not necessary to the success of this. Most of the retainage that you see is there because we're trying to do, which you have yet to see, one of these arrangements where you pull into the garage at a subgrade level, and it would be underneath of the pool cabana, which is at grade. So the retainage around the front of the house, which faces back, that you'll never see, is where you see a lot of the retainage. Does it make sense?
Is this the garage
That's
there then?
the garage is not in the house, Abby. It's, see that little square here?
Oh, we looked at the garage
This,
separately.
she says future garage, so we
Oh,
want to
we
get
haven't
in
seen
low
the garage
to do
yet.
that.
So this goes down.
Yeah, this sort of stays low, and then that's why this
Yeah.
goes higher, and then you step up to the house.
So
In
during
fact, the
that-
house right now, the existing house, has that same arrangement, has a garage underneath the house.
All right, so
Okay.
what are we doing here?
I want to just make a couple more small points.
Yeah.
One, the drawings show a stair on the outside. That's gone.
Right, you said that wasn't.
Yeah.
And the balcony above or something.
See, all this stuff is still showing up on the plan, that's the problem.
No, but we discussed all this, we discussed
Yeah, we talked
revisions
about the
last
stairs
week.
and
Because
all
of me,
that.
yeah.
Haven't been made.
Okay,
Yeah.
so motion to hold for revisions per
Okay.
Okay.
our last discussion.
Yeah.
We need to, did this come up last Thursday?
Hmm?
This was on
Or
last
Tuesday.
Thursday. Was this on last Thursday?
Yeah, it was
Yes,
last
it came from
Thursday.
Thursday.
Which was the meeting
Reaffirmed.
that needs
That's
to be
why on your
reaffirmed.
agenda you'll see the
Okay.
Reaffirmation. of
What
all
is
the-
he revising?
Abby, let me just say, we're actually revising some things internally to make the house smaller. So the sort of agenda items that you guys had were the exterior stair. Dawn wasn't liking the dormer that's,
All right,
Okay.
we know what it is.
so why is
Yeah,
it on,
yeah.
well, I'm trying to figure out why it's on the old business regular agenda and it's also on
Because we viewed it. We viewed it.
reaffirmation.
David wanted to view it again,
Right, I got that.
or view it.
But it came from Thursday, and all the Thursdays are under the reaffirmation. How did they end up on the regular old business meeting?
It's supposed to be on the reaffirmation part.
But it's on both.
Did you check the agenda and move it, or, I don't know?
I think
I
it's
didn't know
because
there
it
were two
went for
separate things.
a special view this past weekend, so that's why it came back up.
I don't know. I just
Well,
know it was on the reaffirmation. So
regardless.
it's coming back up on Tuesday.
Motion to hold for revisions.
I don't see why it can't be approved. No, never mind.
Well, it
No,
actually
it can't be
No,
approved.
he's making
because-
changes to it on his own.
Yeah.
And that exterior stairs.
It's your fault.
So it doesn't,
My fault.
since we have a quorum for it, it doesn't need to be reaffirmed on
Right.
Tuesday. So I'm taking it off the
You can basically
reaffirmation
say
list.
that on
Yeah.
Thursday, reaffirmation is Thursday.
Yeah, so we're fine here now, so it stays on, being held for revision.
So when
we're
does
off.
it come back on? March 4th?
And they said-
March 4th, when you
Okay,
submit the
so
revisions.
just keep in mind, I'm not going to be here March 4th.
Now
So-
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want you to go.
But I will be here that Thursday,
Oh, the following Thursday?
that
March 6th.
March 6th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Oh,
so
that's good to know.
We'll
'cause
know that,
we're
we'll
good
know
to
that
go.
this has to go to March 6th.
Okay.
So can we clarify that, is it being held for
Revisions.
review and revision?
No, the view
No, we did that.
theoretically already took
I
place.
just want to make sure.
Just revision.
Yeah, no, it's just revisions now, because we have the quorum here for this one.
Okay, David won't be on it.
Right.
Are we going to
Okay, so all in favor of Don's motion to hold for revisions?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, on we go. Peter Lissy? Hold on. Who's here?
Sandoval in Wisconsin. Trying to find out. I forgot my glasses.
What's the,
It's, that was number 5.
no, no.
Listen to me now.
Who's here for Wingrove? We don't have a quorum,
Oh, okay.
so it's going to go to beginning of Tuesday? Yep.
Thank you.
Carrie, we can hear yours. One of yours.
She missed the whole drama.
Yeah.
She doesn't even
All
know.
right, so Lissy is,
By text.
Lissy,
All right, so we have Linda, John, and Addie.
Been representing?
Afternoon, Steve Thoreau, Nantucket Architecture Group.
Yep.
North elevation, the new surround roof on the door, a bit formal. On the west elevation, the pergola covering a bit strange. Rear deck very long, paint post red and white. White to match the ground. All pavement, extensive options on the south side. The staircase loses its simplicity. Wouldn't mind if it was simplified, not too much change to it. Grand change for a little cape. Too heavy for cape, not appropriate. Question visibility additions, you need to step down a little bit in height. Deck H, windows with 6-light awning, copper, second story, very visible. Gable glass, not appropriate. Addition, too heavy, didn't have gable, and the roof was more expensive than closed. Ran all in the same direction. The heaviness of the trim on the deck, heaviness of the trim on the door, very long. The pergola extends the whole way. You ground it. The deck and pergola should not be white. The question is, can you run gable or looking back to the
Thank you. If you could please look at the photographs that I attached at the beginning on the front page. I went down Flintlock and took about 15 photographs from the road. I didn't have to get out of my car to find 15 homes that had a gable facing the street. Okay.
I'm ready to.
I don't care.
But I made all the changes you asked for. Pretty much 98% of the changes you requested we made. Dramatically shrank the decks, took off the entrance portico, removed the flying pergolas, dramatically reduced the amount of square foot deck.
Stop talking.
Does anyone have any concerns with this?
I only had one issue. The tent roof over the garage is up too high, and it's really weird.
You want to pull it down lower, or you want me to delete it?
No, I don't care if it's there. But look
I
at it.
thought it would just break up the second floor
It
mass.
does, but it's
Yeah.
up too high. It's
What do you
like in
think,
the middle
like
of the
8
wall.
inches?
It needs to come down probably 8 inches.
Okay, I'll drop it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It looks like it's relating to the door, not
Is
something in the
this
middle of
door
the wall.
existing?
No, it's a new door.
Did someone make you do it as a 6-panel? It's a weird back door.
It's a utility door going into the
Okay,
garage.
no, if that's what you want.
It's basically, yeah, because it's going into the
You don't want
garage,
any glass on
and
it.
it's going to take a
Doesn't
beating
want
going
glass on it.
in and out of the garage with bikes and things, so that's all.
All right, so Joan, you want to make a motion to
Motion to
approve
approve with the roof over the garage door lowered 8 inches.
the pent roof lowered 8 inches?
Now, does that have to go back to staff, or is that
Staff.
okay?
Through staff.
Through staff, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay, that was unanimous. Okey dokey. Forget to sign something?
Pass it to Abby. It's going this way. So that everybody signs this time. No, hopefully
No,
not
that's
the
already made its
cold.
rounds. We've already all had it.
Yeah.
The application for signature.
Oh, well.
There you go. Okay. Gallietto? Let's go, guys. I gotta get back to James and get a refile.
Main concern is to contact the neighbors for the roof walk. There are too many posts on the back of the beach. Turn it over the gable to the rear. On the other side, we said there was a woman up with it.
What'd you do, Nathan, quickly?
We looked at sitting over the dormers. I sent this to the owner.
That's awful.
Yeah, they preferred that we not, and they also preferred they still get an apron. And we thought that we should concede. So what you see is changed from 15 by 10 to 14 by 9, and it all is to weather.
Is it a wooden roof?
No, I believe it's asphalt.
Oh, but the house is natural to weather.
It is.
Okay.
The whole house.
Yeah.
And this is natural to weather.
Trying to remember all of
And
it.
frankly, I don't care if there's a square out there or not.
It should have
1.5 in between.
And their neighbors,
Space.
okay, 1.5 inches?
Yep, in between the slabs.
Okay.
Space. Somebody want to make that motion?
Motion to to approve.
Abby's made a motion to approve with the roof block being natural to weather, including the skirt.
That's
and with an
awfully
inch and-
wide.
What is it, an inch and a
Inch
quarter?
and a quarter.
I
Inch and a
thought we
quarter.
used to do 3/8 of an
No,
inch.
we've been going inch and a quarter.
Inch and a quarter? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's more just like a safety block rather than
A block.
a solid mass enclosure.
Okay.
So Abby's
Okay.
motion was a natural weather roof block with an inch and a quarter spacing between the skirt boards. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we're flipping the page.
Quarter plus and then an inch.
Inch and a half was better. David always goes inch and a quarter. That's one of those little particular things.
Okay, Riding, right?
Riding. Carrie?
And then Burke, and that's it? That's all that we can do, right?
Yep.
Good.
I want to ratify.
I think you can do, because I think here for 15 South Water, while they're talking about it, and since that didn't even happen on 30, you could do that.
No, we talked about it because we said it was like,
Where's the-
we said it was like the Rosencrown windows.
But it didn't happen, because it wasn't properly noticed, so you have a form here today.
We could do all of those again. Okay, that's what we're going to do.
No, it's not, because I'm going to leave after Burke.
No, not all of them. We ratified the votes that were taken. But Don wasn't on it, so I'm not comfortable with that. Unless you want to just pick
It's up to you.
off 15
I
South
have
Water.
to-
I'm not comfortable with that. Move along.
Okay, so we have, somebody on, we got one Somerset.
Yep.
He was concerned too many gang windows, type A windows too large, type C windows too small. And you have to go wrong, and that matching is not traditional for the garage, it's very odd. And, looking for positions.
Representing the applicants?
Carrie Thornwell.
And Stephen Cohen.
I put the reduced of what we had last time on the sheet with you, so you could see that there's so many little window changes and things that I just thought it was more clear if you could compare. So basically, we reduced some of the windows.
Carrie, what is this, the existing?
That's what we proposed first.
Okay.
The big ones are the proposed. The massing has only changed in terms of the roof plane not being a 7. The main mass is an 8. The smaller masses are now 9s. I also got them to reduce the plate height on the second floor so the thing didn't seem so wall-y. And then really pushed the windows around and reduced some of the numbers of the weird windows on there, the little squares in funny gables and weird locations. And I think we really cleared up the fenestration. On the east elevation, we shifted the front door and revised the porch a little bit to give it a little more presence because of that garage mass there. We changed the windows on the end garage. And on the garage on the south elevation, while we didn't change the mass of it because there will be living space up there will be a bedroom suite up there, I added some small, I think you call them hopper windows, to sort of mitigate the size of that upper wall above the garage doors. I fixed the garage doors as well. They had some funny, tiny little side light, transom lights above, and I just put them in the doors instead. I think that's all we did. The ganged windows, I get it, and we could separate a few more of them. There's on each elevation, there's one set of ganged windows. One of the elevations, which is the furthest from anybody's sight, has 3 sets, and I could separate them, a few of them, but there's some over a kitchen sink that really don't want to separate. There's some in a sunroom, dining room area that could separate.
All right, explain to me. This is a pork chop lot, correct?
It is.
It is. And so one of the points I want to make is that this house is actually more than 500 feet from the road.
That was my point. Take a
And
look at the site.
If you look at the site plan, it's really, the house is behind another lot that's over 500 feet long, and it's accessed by a driveway that's heavily wooded and over 500 feet long, and it's behind essentially the serving hydrangea nursery. On the only sort of clear view of this is through the farm off of smooth hummocks.
The tomato fields.
But that's 700 feet away. So I think that the vernacular for this house, even though it's somewhat atypical, is you have a farm that has a hodgepodge of buildings all over it that are not necessarily typical structures, and then you have neighborhoods that were developed at a time where the houses, frankly, look somewhat more like this than you might traditionally find on other areas in Nantucket. The whole 3M neighborhood and in Gulfview across the street has more suburban than typical Nantucket houses, and a lot of garages over there. You've got Marty McGowan's lot over there. There's a lot. The vernacular for this neighborhood does not suggest a high level of historic appropriateness, based both on
is so inappropriate, the way there's that.
But that's really the
All right,
side.
don't argue, let everybody
Okay.
talk,
Right.
because I'm going to agree with what Don says.
And the
Go ahead.
garage can be attached, but it should
Not that way.
be separated. It should be its own additive mass. And yes, you could have living space above it that you access, but it shouldn't have a solid wall that goes right into the house.
That's an 80-foot wall.
I
It
mean,
does
that's,
not break.
it's not about it being,
Yeah.
Don't
to
talk
emulate a
until we're all
historic house in town and not have an attached garage, and it can be much more suburban. I completely understand that, but and I don't think 2/2s are the appropriate window style either. But I just think that this entire building needs to be remassed.
Do you agree
And
with-
there's plenty of designs you can do and have a nice big house with an attached garage, but this one doesn't work.
Well, Huntington Homes
stop.
has,
Huntington Homes has lots of
Okay.
other
Huntington
styles
Homes,
that
yes,
have been
they
built
do.
all over the island.
it's plan driven,
It's the problem
unfortunately.
because it's a Huntington home, and I'm going to keep going there
Yeah.
until that kid comes down
Yeah.
here.
so-
Abby, do you agree with everything
Yes,
Don
I
said?
think that the
The way those vehicles stuck together
It does not work.
and the way the garage.
What I don't understand is the south elevation comments. I understand the garage is big, but there are numerous homes with this
Hold it.
configuration.
Hold it. They have a main mass
Yeah.
With an attached garage.
with an attached garage,
Yeah.
Right.
living
Can I
space over
Can I
it.
ask a question? Because
This is not working.
I get what you're
It should be
saying.
like a 5-bay with a garage attached.
Yeah, let me ask a question, because I think we want to try and get this done as
It's not going to get done today.
quickly
I don't want it not-
and relatively inexpensively. If the garage
There's no clue.
had some separation in its connection, that would resolve that issue. And then in terms of the rest of the massing, I think if perhaps the center door mass became more dominant over the one next to it, is that what you're looking
It's
for?
the
No.
way those gables are paying together is really.
I need a
They
main
need to do
mass. I
something
don't
like-
have a main
We
mass.
just did a Huntington home for Jim Pignato over on Appleton.
Appleton, okay.
Yeah.
And that was a good-sized house with an attached
Attached
garage,
garage.
and we had to bring somebody else in to help them finish designing.
Well, you
it
can
to
see
get
what
it
it would look like without the garage. It would be a 5-bay
No.
with a gable forward. It would
It's
have
the
a gable
gable.
forward on the
It's this
right.
whole thing.
So-
It's this whole thing.
Okay,
And the problem is, he doesn't get it. He's just throwing, I
Well,
know
it's
it's by
because that-
boxes, by boxes, by
Right.
boxes, and you got to throw the boxes together in a certain form. This is not it.
well, that piece is coming forward is the problem.
All of this
that
program
gable.
can
Thing is
go
a problem.
into a different design
Of course it could, but they are trying to work with what
And here's another
have,
problem.
with a
so-
model that they already have.
When you have, look at the south
But it's not,
elevation,
this
you
is
have a
not one that's
whole,
been done on Nantucket.
another ridge running right behind this ridge.
Well, that's the
Forget it.
gable on the front of the
Yeah.
building.
So, but just in terms of,
Start over.
well,
With
I don't
those
know about
boxes.
starting over, but
You're gonna have to.
no, what I want to do is just break it down to which 2 or 3 elements would fix it, and I think that
The whole mass, we can't,
It has
Steve.
to
The
be.
whole
Yeah.
mass is wrong,
Well,
and I don't want to
yeah.
design it
I-
with the boxes in mind
It
at the
just needs
table.
to
But
redesign.
if the garage is separated and there's a main mass on the east elevation, does that address both of your concerns?
He doesn't have a main mass anywhere.
Well, I think it would, if you did it on the east elevation, it would feed into the right.
Well, you're looking at the south also, on the second floor anyway. I'm not as concerned about the window placement because of the distance, but the massing has got, somewhere has to be a pickup
Yeah.
point to go
I don't
there.
think you should go with 2 over 2s.
Yeah,
No,
but
not
the north and west actually read like a main and additive massing. I think the problem is on the east and south, and I just want to know if you agree with that.
I don't even know because the whole thing's going to change.
Okay.
The boxes are going to move, so that then in turn changes the other 2 elevations. And, this isn't your design, Carrie, but...
No, I know,
you're
it's
sort of
just a
dealing
shame
with it.
because the cost issue and the time issue is why they went with this.
We understand,
with
but,
this company,
Carrie,
and I get it. I'm
we've
happy
dealt
to
with- we've had
redesign
the
and try to do
same
something
problem
nicer for
with
them.
Every Huntington home that's come in
Okay.
here lately.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Okay.
Somebody needs to
Thanks.
have a chat up there.
I did tell him that you want to see him.
Yes, we do. Abby's made a motion to hold for revisions. All in favor?
Aye.
Dawn? Okay, then the other one is Burke. Okay, get some off of here. Burke. Ray, why are you still here?
Well, blackfish, 16 blackfish.
Yeah? If we have a second, with the 3 of us on it? We're just going to hold them all. We have to go through every file to figure out what's happening.
No? What's going around?
Yeah, my son gave it to me, Nat Lowell gave it to me. Never had to need a Michael Jackson mask to get around this week.
All right, so this is Linda, Don, and Natalie again. Here's concern, trim coming down the center should be removed, the porch is drawn wrong. The west elevation of the flush dormer doesn't work, it should be raised above the eave, the garage door crossbuck should be interior. The 18-inch overhangs on the dormer should be deleted, the roof is stable on the bones of composition, application stays 3 tab. Porch on the east side is 11.5 feet deep, the height should be reduced to 2 feet. The second floor door is drawn forward with a window next to it. The flush dormer needs to be fixed. On the second floor, there are no windows, so the 2 bedrooms on the east side have no cross ventilation. The landing on the second floor, there was no code, there are some code issues.
What's that?
What?
You talking about interior?
Landing in front of that second floor door is still not code.
What are your, in what way?
You
I mean, I haven't
can't even
imagined
open it
it.
without falling down the stairs. I had the same issue with my garage apartment.
I can look at that, but if
It's
there's a
not
code
in it.
issue, we'll come back.
You got to be able to stand and open the door,
If it's an
and
in-
not on the
If
stairs.
it's an in-swing. I mean, we're not here to talk about building code.
But that would have changed the configuration of that deck.
If it does, I'll be back. It's something we'll certainly look
I'm
at.
fine with that.
Yeah.
This is a house on a barn, right?
Yeah. Can I just go through a couple of, so it's a pole barn, and so instead of doing the shed dormer, we just basically went to a lower eave height, got rid of the shed dormer.
Fixed everything. It's
Yeah.
fine.
The one thing I was going to suggest is, I think we could even drop the porch on the side even further. See the gap between the top of the
You wanna put
casing?
windows in there?
And then just put the windows across the side there, like that.
Say what?
That works.
Basically, put some windows on this side. Drop
Oh,
the
I see.
header of that
Yeah.
porch. It's
And
still not
rest of
dropped.
The space.
My only other question,
Mm-hmm.
go to the north elevation. It's right in front of you. It's already in front of
Here?
you. Where the hell's the frame for that door?
You mean the casing?
It's banged right up against the corner board for the opening.
Yep.
Where's
It
the frame?
slides.
Where's the frame for the door? It shouldn't it be?
There's a case, you can see that side
it a
casing in
slider?
the corner, but yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
And what's behind it?
Just an opening, just nothing. It's going to
This
be
is
unconditioned
landscape- It's
space.
for landscaping.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was an opening behind it,
No.
next to an opening, or
Right.
what's behind it?
There's literally, you just slide the barn door open and you're in the barn.
In the barn?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a heating issue where you have to have doors and stuff?
No.
Do you want to submit that as Exhibit A?
Okay.
Yep.
I just dropped, because it's still, you should have dropped it even further.
Motion to approve with the east elevation porch roof lowered to fit 4 3/3 is lined up with the ones below it.
Yeah.
Awning is okay?
They're actually drawn as double hungs right now, so.
Yeah, everything else is double hung on the building window.
Be nice. Could you repeat that for me?
On the east elevation, the porch roof will be lowered to fit in 4 3/3 windows to line up with and match the ones below.
As marked on Exhibit A. Okay, here comes Exhibit A. How far are they dropping it? Dawn, how far are they dropping it?
Probably about,
Just enough to put the windows in. Don't pan them.
For 6 light double hungs
yeah, it's about 16 inches.
east, and it's going to show up that you're changing out the north and south too, because it's
Correct.
lowering on the side. That's through staff, Dawn?
Yes.
Per Exhibit A, which will be held in the file. All those
Forever and
in
ever.
favor until it burns down or they go to something
Forever.
else, some other system. All those in favor of Dawn's motion?
No, I know, but talking about fire makes me nervous under any circumstance. You don't hedge your bill. Thank you.
Virtually.
Put your pumps and give it back.
Or the power goes out.
Yes.
Okay. We could rehear those windows quickly. He's here from off island. He has to get back to Boston before he can't get back to Boston.
This is Sea-Dog.
Yeah, is anything
Yep.
running still?
Well, my flight's actually first thing in the morning, but
Oh, you think?
I think.
Now,
Well, that's if Boston's at the airport locally, though.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have to go over.
What, this
and
is
then
15
take the
South
bus up.
Water?
Correct.
Which
Yeah.
building is this?
It's the
Sea-Dog. Atlanta Cafe.
It's the Sea-Dog.
Representing the applicant.
Avi Shas from SN Consulting Group in Wellesley.
Spell it. AVI.
AVI.
Spell the last name.
SHOSS as in Sam. Essentially, we are looking to create for the tenant Sea Dog Tavern a more summer appropriate and draw for them, similar to what was approved at Rosencrown down the street. Because of the grade change between the sidewalk and the finished floor elevation, we thought that sliding or vertical windows similar to Rosencrown would be inappropriate and a code issue. So the thought was to recreating the exact same historic condition of the windows, a pulley, nautical, sufficiently engineered pulley system to open the windows vertically, swing them in like an old-fashioned garage door.
Are you talking about they tilt in?
No, the actual
So we had a problem with it.
the whole window would be hinged, so it would be a continuous
So it would go.
piano hinge, and there would be a pulley system up in the ceiling that would pull the window
Oh, they'd
in
pull
like
them up
that.
And then it would just get
Inside
Inside the
premises.
space.
It would get lifted and
They would
thrown
get-
open.
Yeah,
We
there's
couldn't figure if they did this or did this or did this.
right.
We
So
did that the
that
other day.
so they pull inside. There would be 2 points of for safety. There would be a clip system, and they would be
Oh, I
tied
see.
and clipped. And the idea was to use nautical rigging as the pulley system.
Here's
So
the problem. I know when they had the doors wide open down on the strip, they have to have that blower and they have to have all the crap because you are food service and you have unprotected, you don't have screens.
right.
And they couldn't have an open door without having that big vent over the door. And one time they had the plastic strips because you can't have open,
Okay.
depending on what's going on. It could be they had to have that because they have an open kitchen which goes
Yeah,
right
I
outside.
think that's just, it's because they're
Because
actually.
they all have the little things.
Yeah,
Because they're
so we-
cooking the
we're-
food. 'Cause
exactly,
you have
so-
patio space.
This would be a reheat situation, so you wouldn't have a hood condition or black iron pipe condition. So there'd be no venting or louvers added to the elevation. That would be strictly for ideal weather conditions.
Now, there's a couple of reasons why we had a problem with it. Not that we couldn't figure out how they were going up and down and in and out. The other issue was, last week, was that it still looks like 3 windows, but they're not. It's one big plane, and that goes up in one big piece, and that's not normal downtown. The ones over at the Crown and a couple of other places like Starlight, they're one.
Right.
Or
One
like a
window.
picture window.
It doesn't look like there are
Well-
still 3 windows, but here's your other problem, is that currently, I believe those windows are true divided light.
Right, and we would be recreating those as we have a craftsman in Boston that would be recreating,
True
essentially
divided light.
taking those windows and putting them into a larger frame where still trying to figure out whether or not the windows can be operable still in the closed position. But what we'd be doing is in the closed position, which would be a majority of the year, it would look exactly the way that it does, same trim, everything would be natural wood. The issue with creating 3 separate windows that all raised in that way would be there would be no way to
That's a
sufficiently
nightmare.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're in the middle of the old historic district,
Correct.
where we require true divided light windows. We were concerned that all of a sudden the 3 of them are going together, and they're not still separate windows.
But they're not separate, they're ganged together right now.
Yeah, but they're separate. They're all separate. They're all separate sashes.
There's still gonna be
Just the whole
double
thing flips
hung
up
windows.
inside.
The whole thing flicks
But the
up
whole
just
frame-
during
I
the
know,
summer.
we couldn't quite get that on Thursday.
Yeah, no,
Right.
it's something we haven't seen before,
No.
but I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah, just as long as on the inside it starts at
long
5,
as it
starts
stays
at
all right.
5'3", and it slowly goes, I mean, in its maximum, I just concerned about headroom in there, but
Well, we would be, obviously, the window,
They've got a 20-foot ceiling.
they would have to move the tables, obviously, in order to operate the window, so it would be a
Right.
situation where
you do it.
if you're expecting rain that day, you
Sure.
don't put the windows up, and you would operate similar to how you were operating
I
currently.
mean, when it's up,
It's
can
gotta be
people
all the way
pass
up.
underneath?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
of course,
The
of course.
ceiling,
It's going inside the building, and up into the ceiling.
cathedral all the way up.
Here.
Yeah, we couldn't figure it out, but it goes inside the building and up. But
Correct.
you have an open truss in there.
Correct.
What are you going to put these pulleys on in
The
there?
pulleys are actually going to, the pulleys are actually going
I'm
to,
talking to the applicant,
the pulleys are going to tie to the existing roofing system, so they'll be
Really?
using the joist.
using the joist already
The
in
structure
there.
of the joist, and because there's no, in perfect weather conditions, there's no snow load, there's no live load or dead load on the roof, we would be using the roof structure to
Hold them up.
hold them up.
Now, when they're open, we're going to catch a lot of flack for this, I got to tell you, because that building's been there for a long time. There's been a lot of changes to the buildings on both sides of them, which have both disappeared
Yeah.
and come back. That whole block has disappeared and come back. I would be worried at any time about that not being all the way open. If you're going to raise it,
There's
it
only,
needs to go all the way up and not halfway up, so all 3 sashes are hanging in the window opening. That would not be acceptable.
right, there's only two operable options, there's closed or fully open.
Okay.
Honestly, you couldn't operate, a lot of the considerations were we don't want to change the look of the building. If you did vertical windows, you would have the seams similar to Rosencrown. We didn't think that was in keeping with, the district. 2, it was, in essence, that you wouldn't be able, if you opened out, you would be over the sidewalk because you're
That was my question
zero
on
lot
Thursday.
line. And so opening in is the only option, and the only option is to open fully to be able to operate the business. So the goal here is to help the business operate in the summer when everybody would prefer to be in an outdoor, patio type of situation, and a dark tavern suffers because
Was this in lieu of trying to get that patio passed in the back that we've been arguing about for a while?
this. I was recently brought in, so I was not aware of the
Because
patio.
they've been in here before trying to get a full patio out back, and there's been some issues.
Right.
But I don't think that's a dead issue at the moment. But
I
it's
think
been-
that this will help the business regardless. I think it would make it a little bit more permeable when it's in a walkable district.
Go to the select, they're going to have to talk to the selectmen also. Keep that in
I'll make a
mind.
motion to approve.
Mark, that's enough interruption, please. You're making a motion to approve?
Yes.
Provided the windows are true divided light.
And that they extend completely to their upright position.
Either open or closed.
Yep, that's
That can be said this
it.
way.
It doesn't work
It doesn't
either
work
anyway, engineering-wise, so.
Is there anything you want to add to that? So TDLs, single glaze, be careful about getting into trouble since you're replacing existing windows that have been there forever. Which is why I'm concerned, is because you may run into the fact that you can't do TDLs. You're going to have to go to impact, add it up. And the guy across the street from you had to go to Boston to get a variance from having to provide double, tripled, impact, and all that stuff. The
Yeah,
minute you
but that
touch
was
those
brand new
windows,
building.
you've got to start it. No, they replace those windows, they're back into that problem.
To make it true divided
But maybe you can
Yes.
just use the existing windows.
If you can use the
and
existing
re-engineer.
windows.
And that's the first thing that we're looking at is removing the windows. Because it needs to be brought to Boston to create the frame, we were looking at it as they have the ability to do true divided light windows. The frame just needs to be substantial enough, which we're showing. I mean, there's so much blocking in there that's hidden by trim and new structure that it's, we can.
All right, as part of your motion, because if you can't use the existing windows because of code, you're going to have to come back here. We
It
gotta
will
go to
be true
variance.
divided light per the drawings.
My point is, use the existing windows. If you can't, you'll have to come back. Is that okay for you guys? Mm-hmm. All right, so Abby's motion is that they remain true divided light, and you try to, and use the existing windows. If you cannot use the existing windows, you've got to come back and have a conversation, because then you're going to have to file an appeal of the state.
But they're going to be true divided light regardless. Doesn't
Yes,
matter
but
if
these
they're
are
the
existing-
same.
These are the historic windows that were in that structure.
Comment. Well, first of all, I don't know that that's true because there's been no evaluation, but he has the right to replace the windows like kind. And that, you think that those windows are historic,
I don't think
we
that's
should have that
important.
information,
No.
but he was originally going to come in and just have the windows replaced like kind, and then they've gone further to do this arrangement. So, I mean, it would contradict what our process, so he's trying to get
We don't
clarification.
generally do that, Mark. When somebody comes in here and they want to replace historic windows, we ask for a window schedule, we ask for how many can be saved, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We just don't allow whole-scale replacement of historic windows. I'm sorry, we don't.
Yeah, but how
Well,
old
you're
are those?
misrepresenting what I said.
How old are those windows?
That's what they haven't said. But I was going to size green coffee pot back in the early 70s and the 60s, and those windows were there.
Yeah, but those aren't historic windows to me.
That building is the only building that still exists in its form, original form, down there. And no research has been done on how old those windows are. So that's why I'd rather he use the existing windows. If he can't use the existing windows because of code issues, then come back and get the history of those windows. Because I don't remember those windows in the 40-some-odd years I've been here. In my entire life, 20 years before that, those windows had never been replaced.
Okay.
So
Now, can I ask one quick question? In the situation where we are reusing the windows and we have to remove them and ship them to Boston in the short term,
yeah, we know that.
okay.
Because we know that the
Well, we know you have to put something there. Just
Right.
wall your
Yeah.
Plastic or.
Yeah, well, I mean, a temporary,
You might have to put in a temporary window to keep operating
we're going to shut down
if
when
they
we're
don't
doing
want to
this.
close.
we were hoping not to, because what we were hoping initially to do was have the windows created and shipped, and it's actually not that
He's planning on doing
extensive.
brand-new windows and not closing. I'm having a problem with that.
So I'm saying you're going to have to put in something temporary.
As long as that's okay and understood. Obviously, we'll do the investigation that we have to do. I'm not 100%
Well,
sure
you'll have
what
an open building permit.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so you
obviously
saying
you
that under construction, you can't board up the opening?
Well, they don't want to do
Well,
that
the
with
point
people
is
there.
if they board it over, they can't stay open.
I know, but I was wondering what restriction, if you're putting restriction on it.
No, I was saying you could put in temporary
Okay.
windows while the building permit's open, while you're taking the windows out and refabricating them, like we would do if a house was
Well,
having
there
windows
will
repaired,
be
right?
some
Take 'em out
construction
and
to
they
that
put
front
them-
wall, so.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, you're going to have to shut down at some point for a minimum amount of time.
Okay.
But I'm assuming it might take a little bit longer to fabricate.
Well, it would probably just be the shipping time and the demolition time, the care that they would need to the selective demolition to
So
get the
maybe we
windows
could
up.
just do it by boarding it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you guys, but we just don't want it done in the middle of the summer, and you don't either.
No,
So
they
you want
don't.
it done now.
I think they want, exactly.
Yeah. And he normally closes for a couple of weeks down there anyway. All right, so that was Dawn's motion was, I need it back when you're done, that was Abby's motion was to approve using the existing windows. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You've got to come back, just let us know and come back. And there's a way to check how old those windows are.
Right. We'll send someone.
Need
There
money.
was no filing fee paid, it would appear?
No, I
think that-
Just know,
Maybe somebody
It
else.
hasn't been marked, it hasn't been marked up here.
We sent someone down from the NIR retail office
Yeah, that
with a
would
check.
Get taken off. That
Okay.
was initially submitted.
Right,
So it is
exactly.
paid. Okay, we'll take that off. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck getting out. Why don't you try going now?
I actually might.
Yeah,
Gotta
it's
go-
only going to get worse
Go
tomorrow.
collect my stuff from the Jared Kaufman house.
Yeah,
Good luck. Thank you very much.
because, when it starts to blow here, it's supposed to blow till tonight, the planes take a while to get going. Motion to adjourn, all in favor? Thank you. They tend to take a while to start in the morning because they got to either plow where they're going, or they got to plow here, or the wind's too high to go.
Yeah, let me give them a call.
And so far, I haven't seen that the boats are